Hey everybody, this is going to be the tutorial that's going to show you how to make this easy crochet baby blanket. Okay, in order to make this easy crochet baby blanket, I used worsted weight yarn, which is 4-ply for the US, 10-ply for Australia. I used 5 skeins, and each skein was 100 grams or 3.5 ounces or 210 meters or 230 yards. This blanket size, I measured it right before I added this border because I did a message in my YouTube community. I asked if you'd like to have borders on some of the afghans, and overwhelmingly you said yes. But I really liked the end on this one, so I just decided to add just a small little fancy border on the end. It's really easy to make. Everything about this afghan is easy, easy, easy. Hence the name Easy Crochet Baby Blanket. So my blanket measured 34 inches or 86 centimeters, and it was, I'm calling each one of these squares a block, and it was 15 blocks wide. I'm sorry, lengthwise, so that would be this way. And the width was 33 inches or 83 centimeters, and it was 13 blocks wide. The gauge is 3 stitches per 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters, which is 2.5 centimeters equals 1 inch. And I'm using a 5mm hook or size H hook for the US. So the multiples of this stitch is 8 plus 7, and what that means is that you're going to chain in sets of 8, 8, 8, 8 until you reach your desired width, and then once you do, you chain that plus 7 more, and then you're ready to start your afghan. Every 8 stitches creates one of those blocks that you saw. The size afghan that I made, I chained 111. Which is 104 plus 7. So chain 111 if you want to reach that same size that I have. I know it's quite big. I always make it more stroller size so that you can use it anywhere in the house and that it lasts the whole time that your baby's small. So go ahead and do your multiples of 8, then plus 7, and when you're ready to start, we can begin row 1. So I have my 2 sets of 8. And then I went ahead and I did a plus 7, so now I'm ready to start. You want to double crochet in the 7th chain from the hook. So count from this very first chain, and you want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So in the 7th chain from the hook, you want to put a double crochet. And I just want to double check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the 7th chain. Okay. Let me get a little closer as well. Okay. So this is a really easy row, row 1. You just want to chain 1, skip 1, and then the next stitch, do a double crochet. And you'll be doing this for, that's the repeat for the row. So again, chain 1, skip 1, then double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. So continue this for your row, and I'll see you here for row 2. Okay, for row 2, you should end in a just perfectly in the double crochet at the end of the row. When you're done, you want to chain 4 and turn. And then now you'll be skipping this first chain 1 area, and we'll be going into this very first double crochet of the row, and you're going to put a double crochet in that double crochet. And you want to have 7 double crochets in a row. So you're going to be using your chain 1 spaces and your double crochets. So that first double crochet in the double crochet is 1. So then we'll go in our chain 1 space and put a double crochet, that's 2. And double crochet in the double crochet, that's 3. Keep doing this till you've got 7. So that's 4, 5, 6, and 7. So once you have your 7 in a row, then you'll chain 1, and then you'll skip this next chain 1 space here, and then you'll repeat here for the next double crochet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then when you reach the end of your row, you'll have just your chain here. You want to go ahead and chain 1. Let me just check my pattern here. And you're going to skip this very first chain, and you're going to put a double crochet in the second chain over to end your row. And you will want to chain 4 and turn. And I believe it's always chain 4 and turning. It's been a while. I've been making a lot of afghans lately. So I'm trying to refresh my memory, but I believe it's always going to be chain 4 and turn. But I guess we'll find out when we get there. Okay, for row 3, we're going to skip again this very first space. I think that's pretty much going to happen through the entirety of the afghan. It adds a really nice border having this chain space here. Anyway, so we're going to skip this first one. We're going to go right into our first double crochet of our 7 here, and in these first 2 double crochets of our 7, we're going to put a double crochet in both of those. A double crochet in the first, and then double crochet in the second. And then I'm going to chain 1 and skip the next stitch, and we're going to do a popcorn stitch in the following one. Okay, so we're going to chain 1, we're going to skip this next stitch, and the following one we're going to put 5 double crochets all worked in that same stitch. We need 5 double crochets in that same stitch because we're going to be making a popcorn stitch. So once you have your 5 double crochets in this stitch, you want to flip your piece to the back, and you're going to find that very first double crochet, and you're going to slip stitch into it. Then you're going to chain 1 and turn. That's how you make your first popcorn. And just like we did the previous one here, we skipped this next stitch. We're going to repeat we're just going to mirror what we did. So we already got our chain 1. So you're going to skip this next one, and in these last 2, you're going to put a double crochet. So then we're going to move over again. We're going to do our next little block here. And you can see how there's a space going here. So chain 1. And we're going to work in our first 2 double crochets and put a double crochet in each one of those. Then like before, we'll chain 1, skip the next stitch, and in the following one you're going to put 5 double crochets in this one stitch. 3, 4, and 5. And again, we're going to turn it over, find the space of our first double crochet, and we're going to slip stitch and chain 1. Turn your piece back over. Then again, we're going to skip the next stitch and double crochet in our last 2 double crochets here. Then to end the row, we always want to have a double crochet at the end. So you're going to chain 1, you're going to skip this first one, and just double check. I like to double check before I do it. Yes. So we're going to do just like we did last time with our last chain 4. We'll chain 1, skip the first chain, and the second one over, put a double crochet to end the row. And that ends row 3. And it also says chain 4 and turn. And then the next row also says chain 4 and turn. So yeah, it looks like it is going to be a chain 4 and turn every single time. Okay, so for row 4, I'm going to chain 4 and turn. Again, we'll be skipping this first space, and we're going to double crochet in the next 2 double crochets. So a double crochet in those first 2 double crochets again. And then you want to double crochet in the chain 1 space, which is this space here. Looks like we're creating our 7 double crochets again. So double crochet in that chain 1 space. Then we're going to double crochet in our, from behind though, in that popcorn stitch. And again, on the other side of our popcorn stitch, we have that chain one, so we're going to put a double crochet in there as well. And then you're going to double crochet in these last two as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we got our 7 back again. So you'll chain one, move over to your next block here, and you're going to start by putting a double crochet in those first 2 double crochets. Then double crochet in that chain one space before your popcorn. And then you're going to double crochet in that space of your popcorn, come from behind. And then in that chain one space after the popcorn. And then again in these last 2 double crochets. A lot of double crochets in this afghan. Then to end, again, you'll chain one, you'll skip that first chain, and then in the next, you will put a double crochet. And that will end row 4. So for row 5, it's going to be like we did for the first row. So you're going to chain 4 and turn. So this is the last row of the repeat. So it definitely is chain 4 and turn every time. And always skipping this first block area. And we're going to put a double crochet in this very first of our double crochets. And then we're going to do like we did on this first row here. We're going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and double crochet in the next. Then chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip a stitch, double crochet in the next. And you know you're in the right stitch, because once you get up to this middle section that separates the blocks, it'll always line up, so it'll always be a chain 1 and then double crochet on the other side of that to get your next block. So if you don't chain 1 to continue this, then you know you're off somewhere over here. So chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next. Continue this to your end. Then again you'll chain 1, skip one of those chains, and double crochet in the next. As you can see, your blocks are surrounded by, even in the center, they're all surrounded by spaces. The only solid piece is the middle area with the popcorn stitch in the middle. And then now you're going to want to repeat rows 2 through 5, which this is essentially row 1, what we just did. But now it's row 5. So it's going to be 2, 3, 4, 5. So just 4 rows. So like always, you're going to want to chain 4 and turn. And then backing up, which would be row 2, we're going to start making our sets of 7 again. So to do that, you're always going to skip that first chain 1 space, and now we're going to be doing our 7 stitches in a row. So we got our first double crochet, and then you'll have a double crochet in your chain 1 space. Just a second, my yarn was getting away from me. Then you double crochet in the double crochet in the chain 1 space, double crochet in the double crochet. It's count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so I need to do that 2 more times. Double crochet in the next chain 1 space, and then double crochet in the next double crochet. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. So chain 1 and move on over to the next double crochet, and then keep double crocheting in the chain 1 spaces and then the double crochets until you've got 7 in a row again. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this next one is 7. And then you'll continue that for your row. And at the end you'll chain 1, you'll skip that 1 chain and double crochet in the last. So that was the repeat of row 2. You'll chain 4, turn. So the repeat of row 3. Again, you're going to double crochet in these first 2 stitches of the row, chain one, skip one, and in that middle, this next one, skip one, and in this next double crochet, you're going to start your popcorn again. So you'll want to put 5 double crochets into this one stitch. What did I do it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. One more. That's 5. Flip it over, slip stitch into that first double crochet, then chain one, skip the next one, then double crochet in the last 2 stitches. And then you'll chain one and you'll move over to your next block area here, and you'll double crochet in those first 2 stitches, then chain one, skip one, and in your next, put 5 double crochets. Three, 4, and 5, and then turn, slip stitch in that first double crochet and chain one, turn it back over, skip the next stitch, and then double crochet in your last 2 stitches. Then chain one, skip the next chain, and double crochet in the next. And then you'll chain 4 and turn. And this will be the repeat of row 4, right? Yes. Then you'll double crochet in your first 2 double crochets. Then you'll double crochet in that chain one space. And then double crochet in that popcorn space from behind there. Then you'll double crochet in that chain one space. Then double crochet in your last 2 double crochets to end that first block. Then you'll chain one, move over, and repeat for all your blocks. Double crochet in the first 2, double crochet in that chain one space, double crochet in the popcorn, double crochet in the chain one space, then double crochet in the next 2. Then when you get to the end, chain one, skip the next stitch, double crochet in that last. Then you'll chain 4, and this is row 5, the last row of the repeats. And row 5 is the double crochet chain, yeah. So again, you're skipping the first space. I'm going into your first double crochet here, chain one, skip one, double crochet in the next, chain one, skip one, double crochet in the next, chain one, skip one, double crochet in the next. Again, you're in the center part here, so you know that you're on target. If you're chaining one, double crochet in the next, then chain one, skip one, continue this till you get to the end. Chain one, skip the first chain, single crochet in the next. Because this is designed the way that it is, it pretty much tells you where everything goes. Once you know the pattern, it's very hard to get off track. And you can do this mindless. And I couldn't think of anything else but to call it the easy crochet baby blanket, because it is extremely easy. So now that I've got a few rows of this done, I'm going to show you how I made the border. In the space here, this very last space, in the very first space, all these corner spaces I used for my corner. So basically you just want to chain one, and in that corner space I always put 3 single crochets. And I think because I actually cut my yarn and added this later, I didn't start from the spot, that I'm over a little bit more than I usually am. So I'm only going to put 2 in this first one, and then when I get all the way back up, I'm going to put my 3rd in on this side, that way it looks more even. So just put 2 in this first one if you didn't cut your yarn. And then in the middle here, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So in all these little block spaces, very easy to see, each one of these on the side and all the way around, you'll put single crochet, chain 2, and then single crochet. Then you move over to your next space, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. So continue this all the way around, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Everything about this I tried to make as easy as possible. So you don't chain in between the little blocks. So I just did a single crochet, so I'm just going right into my next. Okay, now this is a corner space, so I'm going to put 3 single crochets in here. I'm going to try to even them out and make sure my 3rd single crochet is worked on the top, because you want it to round that corner. Then when you're done, you can move on to the next stitch. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. Move to the next. Single crochet, chain 2, single crochet. I just want to get some of this done so I can show you on camera, those who may be watching before they're doing, just to show you what this looks like a little better. So that is how you add the little border there at the end. And remember, if you did like me and you had only 2, then remember you need to end by putting your last single crochet here, slip stitch in the first single crochet that you did, chain 1, cut your yarn, and you're done. Voila! I just want to show you this afghan. See, this is the ending. That's the border from the back. That's what the afghan looks like on the back. It's pretty flat. So that is it. I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please don't forget to like and share this video. It helps me out so much. You can always find the link to the free pattern underneath the videos. So go check that out if you'd like to have a written out thing to follow along with. You can find the PDF on either of my shops on Etsy or Ravelry, and I'll add pictures in my PDF, so it can also take you step by step if you prefer that. Be sure that you follow me on Facebook. I share crochet patterns that are free daily, and at least one sponsored link as well. And also I'm on Pinterest. I'm very active there as well. I have a newsletter that you can sign up to and always find out what's the newest thing coming out for me. So that's it, guys. Thank you so very much for watching.